Hello everyone. In this video we will be covering class 8 SST chapter 1, which is natural resources and their use. So let's start. So what is nature? So nature is the totality of life and non-life forms that are part of our environment and they are not being created by humans. When humans use nature to create new things, then nature becomes resources. Example, chair made from the wood, sometimes electricity generated using wind, and a leaf basket. For an entity to be called a resource, it should be logically accessible, its extraction should be economically feasible, and it should be culturally acceptable. So, in conclusion, natural resources refers to materials and substances that occur in nature. In some places, farmers do gentle plowing, which causes minimum disturbance to the underground ecosystem and retains soil moisture. So, this is also a good practice. In many indigenous traditions of the world, nature is considered sacred. It is also believed that nature is a nurturer and nourisher. We can categorize natural resources based on two different characteristics. They are based on uses and based on whether they are renewable or not. So, based on uses, first, resources essential for life, second, resources for material, third, resources for energy. And based on whether they are renewable or not, first is renewable resource and the another one is non-renewable resource. So the first one is based on the uses. The first one is resources essential for life. The things that we cannot make, like the air we breathe, the water we drink, and the soil in which the plants grow and gives us food. Next, we have resources for material. The human beings create physical objects out of nature's gift, like the wood is converted into the chair. Now let's move to the last use, which is resources for energy. So the things used in the process to generate energy, like the water, like petroleum and air. These are natural resources. Now let's move on based on whether they are renewable or not. So first one is renewable resources, materials that can be replenished or restored, like the wind. Now let's move to the second one, which is non-renewable resource. Things that cannot be replenished are usually created over long periods of time. Example, petroleum. Now let's move to the next topic, which is the nature cycle. Nature works in a cycle. First, tree falls in the forest, then it decomposes with the bacteria, fungi and insects feeding on it. Then the tree becomes part of the soil enriching it, and then new trees and plants grow from seeds, and then another plant will fall and the cycle will start again. This is a religious practice which offers Arghayam to Surya, which is the sun god, in gratitude to thank the sun god. So Arghayam is a offering generally of water as a mark of respect or gratitude. Trees naturally produce oxygen. When these natural processes benefit humans, we call them as ecosystem services. Not only living things but also when non-living things benefit humans, it will also be considered as the ecosystem services, as ecosystem is an interaction between living and non-living. Nature does not pay attention to political boundaries, which leads to conflicts. Example, the sharing of Kaveri river water among Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Kerala and Puducherry, where negotiations and deft management were required to maintain peace. The Mettur Dam in Tamil Nadu is built on the Kaveri river. Next is the case of the cement. The process of production of cement releases fine dust that enters our lungs and those of animals, damaging them. Settles on leaves of plants, decreasing their yields, and causes soil and water pollution too. The Central Pollution Control Board has created guidelines for cement factories to ensure that the pollution is minimized or eliminated. Vrikshayurveda is an ancient Indian botanical science that focuses on the study and care of plants and trees. The term comes from Sanskrit with vriksha meaning tree and Ayurveda meaning the science of life or health. It was formalized in texts such as Surpala's Vrikshayurveda. Now, the last topic of this chapter is the natural resource curse. It is also known as the paradox of plenty. Now, often having plenty of natural resources does not automatically mean that a country is rich. Frequently, economies are unable to develop industries that convert the resources into products of higher value. India has generally avoided this curse by investing in the development of such industries to meet our growing needs. Thank you and subscribe for more.